Hello, this is Real World Audio, and we are switched on Bach again. And today I'm going to share with you some, actually, the most amazing audio experience that I had in my life. And it is about the Teldec Warner Bach edition, the Bach 2000 edition. So at the year 2000 they released the complete recording of Bach's works. That was basically started as a collaboration between Nicolas Harnoncourt and Gustav Leonhardt that resulted first in the cantata cycles, and then they added on more and more of Bach's works, and then it was issued on as a CD collection, 153 discs, and released in year 2000. And at that time, in year 2000, I was a university student in the southern town, which is of Hungary, called Szeged. And there, if you happen to travel there, or if you happen to go to Hungary, of course everyone goes to Budapest and their minds are blown away. But yes, Budapest is truly amazing and it has amazing nightlife, and I have lots of friends who are Americans and they travel to Hungary. And I would say, if you are a US citizen and you travel to Hungary, there's a 50% chance you will never come back and you will move there, because that's what happened to my friends. When they went to Hungary, half of them never came back. They settled down in Budapest. So do not underestimate the effect, especially the cultural effect of Budapest. But that being said, I am by far more partial towards Szeged, which is the cultural capital of southern Hungary, because Budapest is the cultural capital of, I would say, northern Hungary, but also Budapest is somewhat unique, because people in Hungary are in two different groups. Either you are from Budapest or countryside. And people from either Budapest or countryside have different mentality, and of course, if you are into music, if you are a musician, then either you are a Budapest musician or a countryside musician. And basically, if you are a countryside musician, you are pretty much forced into the shadows and anonymity, except for the city of Szeged, because apart from Budapest, Szeged is another cultural capital of Hungary, and I find the classical music scene of Szeged much more to my liking than that of Budapest, because of course Budapest gets all the attention. There's tons of international superstars going there performing, and people who play in the orchestras in Budapest, they are superstarred, they got all the fame, but they also tend to perform in a way that it's, I could say, not so authentic, or more popular, or more showy. And I have found that at Szeged, I frequented the opera, the concerts. There were 5 churches that had organs. Of course, there are many more churches in Szeged which have fantastic organs, but there were 5 of them which I frequented at a more or less regular basis. I mean, talking about each of them. And the concerts in the city of Szeged, they were so much more intimate, so much more in depth, and could bring me closer to music, to the essence of music, than those at the Budapest scene. And perhaps it is not such a big wonder that there was a fantastic event in Szeged. And that event was that there was a theater group, and this theater group acquired the Teldec collection of Bach, of the all 153 CDs, and they rented out the old synagogue, and they set up a stereo system there, and they played the entire 153 CD set non-stop during the course of a week. And the best thing about it is that it was an entirely free event, so you didn't need to pay anything. You could stay as long as you wanted. In addition to being free, they provided hot tea, because this was fall and it was pretty cold, and of course these big cathedrals and churches are pretty damn cold by default, even if it's not fall or winter. So you needed some heat, and the form of hot tea, especially free, that was really fantastic. So you didn't need to just leave after a couple hours because you froze to death. If you were cold, you just grabbed another hot tea. Also, they provided blankets, so if you were really cold, you could wrap yourself in a blanket. That's what I did, and for example, I slept there a couple of times because, as I said, the showing of Bach's CDs was non-stop. That was 24/7, literally, during the course of an entire week. And of course, I couldn't be there for the whole time. There's such bodily needs as one needs to, take a shower. And also, I needed to take my classes. So for those times, I was not there. But pretty much all the time that I could spend, I went there. And the best thing about it is that I lived literally like 100 yards from the place where it was performed, and literally, if I just wanted to take a shower, I stepped out, took a shower, came back right away. I didn't even miss the whole CD, just maybe like 30 minutes. And so I really spent a lot of time there. I could say probably that I was the person who was there for the longest time. I think probably 30% of the music I heard it, and I took with me my material that I needed to learn. So I had my textbooks, my notes with me, and I studied there, and I can say that it was an astonishing experience that really made the biggest impact of me out of any music I ever heard in my life. And that's why I am recommending for everyone to look into box sets. Because if you want an immersion to Bach, if you want to understand Bach, it's not enough to just listen to a single CD or a single work, or just look which is the most famous work of Bach, and you will find that the scholars will tell you that the H-moll Mass, which is the B minor Mass in English, that's his most famous work, and that's the pinnacle of Bach. But I would say hogwash to that, and because I would say the pinnacle of Bach's work is his cantata cycle, which is about half of the remaining works that we have, that is left to us from Bach. And this is literally half of the Teldec Bach collection. So out of the 12 boxes, 6 boxes are the cantata cycles. And of course they played all of Bach's works while I was there, like the Well-Tempered Clavier cycle, of course the famous H-moll Mass, and his organ works, and I could go on and on and on. Or like, for example, the unaccompanied cello suites, which is some of the most amazing, most beautiful music ever written. But the music that left the greatest impression in me of that 1 week of listening was the cantatas. And actually the H-moll Mass or the B minor Mass, this is basically like a souped up cantata, because it has, I would say, it is more like an overblown version of a cantata. And I could talk more about cantatas now, but then we would run into a very long and tedious and boring episode, and I really want to spare everyone from the pains of that in this episode and just get back to the cantatas. And if you are just to listen to a single cantata, you would say, whatever, okay, let's just forget about it and be done with it. But if you, let's say, like get like the Teldec Bach, or just maybe just get like a few cantatas, you can get like a couple like different CDs with cantatas. It doesn't need to be a box set. If you can get one of these sets, the Telefunken original edition, of which this is the digital version, then you are in the best hands, or one of the best hands. But what I would recommend to you is that do not listen to it during the daytime, when you are in the mood for rock and roll and loud music, and let's break the sonic frontiers with H-moll Mass or big organ works. Listen to it at night, when you are about to fall to sleep, when your day is done. You want to just get rid of your worries, get rid of all of your expectations, empty your mind, turn off the lights off when you listen to cantatas. Okay, this is important. Close your eyes and sit down comfortably and just absorb the music. And I think this is my perception of Bach, that his cantatas are the core of Bach. And everything else, his clavier work or harpsichord work or cello, whatever, it's I would say that's marginal. I would marginalize it compared to his cantatas, because this is what he did every day in his life. For most of his life, this was the focus of Bach, that he wrote cantatas to be performed at the church where he worked at, where he was employed at, and people went there and listened to it every weekend. And that was the thing that Bach contributed to everyone. His other works, like for example the D-moll Toccata and Fugue, or others, they were really requested and written for some of his patrons who were nobility and who had higher tastes, I would say. And those are, I would say, like specialized and special. And those are also really phenomenal works, and they will truly enrich your lives. But if you want to get to the core of Bach, really understand him, then go for his cantatas. And when you are familiar with the cantata world of Bach, and then you listen to his other works, like his cello suites, or the H-moll Mass, or anything else, then you will look at them with very, very different appreciation. And you will be able to tell who are those who interpret Bach faithfully, and who are the ones who just give themselves. And don't be fooled about the fame of the performer, because often the famous performers play themselves. So he is not interpreting Bach, he is using Bach as a sideline to give himself, to show his brilliance, to show his mindset to the world. And if you just go with those recordings, like look for famous performers and listen to Bach from there, then you will not get a clear picture of Bach, but you will get a clear picture of that performer, but not of the composer. However, if you approach from the cantata, it's very difficult, or I would say it's quite difficult to recreate the cantatas using someone's personality. You are forced to retain a much higher level of authenticity when you are performing the cantatas. So that's my message for today. I really hope that you will get a chance to listen to that cycle, and I will continue telling more about this experience and about this cycle, because there's like tremendous knowledge, or I would say experience basis that I gained from it, and it relates to audio gear first and foremost, and to room acoustics. So Bach recordings and the level of audio gear and room acoustics, that will be the next part. Thank you for tuning in. Like, subscribe, get to know Bach.